Hi, I'm Aravia and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be looking at farming some ghost mushrooms. Ghost mushroom is a vanilla herb that is only found in a select few caves. An interesting and rather annoying thing about farming ghost mushrooms is that even if you have max classic herbing, you will still only receive one herb per node. This is both a good and bad thing for gold making with this farm. It is good because less people farm it and therefore the market is generally not saturated. But it's also bad because it takes a little longer to get a larger amount of this herb. The positive here, though, is that this herb is generally on the higher end for price point, so you get the more bang out of your farm. So why should you take the time to farm this herb? Ghost mushroom is used to make ghost dye, which is then used for a few tailoring crafts. Ghost dye is made by alchemists requiring level 245 alchemy, and the pattern is sold by Bronk for Horde and Loganus for Alliance, both of which are in Feralus. This is one of those pesky, time-sensitive patterns, so if you go to your faction's vendor and it isn't there, check back in a few minutes. These patterns generally have a 30 to 60 minute respawn timer, but some of them fluctuate. You can usually buy these patterns off the auction house, but I would only recommend that if you don't want to wait or check back with the vendor a few times, as they're usually posted for a large amount of gold. On my server, the herb itself sells anywhere between 20 and 30 gold per, and the dye goes for approximately 100 gold, and uses 2 mushrooms per dye. But this is very server dependent for prices and sell rate. I looked up a few different guides to say where you can find ghost mushrooms. Some of them say you can find them in the hinterlands, but when I went to test it out, I didn't find a single spawn. I did find a spawn in Moradin, so if you are there farming transmog or for whatever reason, you can herb them there, but I personally wouldn't solely go for farming ghost mushrooms. There's also a cave in Zangermarsh that has spawns, but from what I've read and what I saw during my test, there are only about 3 spawns at any given time, so you may have to wait before you can continue gathering. Although my favorite place to farm ghost mushrooms is in Angoro Crater in this cave here, located at 6315. I prefer this farm because the cave is pretty easy to navigate and is packed full of the herb. When farming for ghost mushrooms, I usually do a lap of the cave and then a lap around Angoro Crater, gathering the various materials that spawn there before continuing back to the cave. Rinse and repeat. The herb has a pretty quick respawn timer, but I prefer not to sit and wait for anything. In one lap of the cave, I got 9 mushrooms. Although it's kind of hard to distinguish what one lap equals, but I did try not to pick up any herbs that respawn during the test. It took me about 13 minutes to do 5 laps of the cave, and I got 47 mushrooms in that time. This farm is very easily multi-boxable, and I usually do it with my 5-box team, but for the purpose of this video, I wanted to show how beneficial it is farming with just one toon. You can choose how you want to go about using or selling your ghost mushrooms. You can sell them as is, sell them as the dye, or use the dye to make your tailoring crafts. I usually make one of each of the tailoring crafts that require it, and then once those are made, sell the rest as the raw material. That's mostly because I'm a pretty lazy gold maker. As always, prices and sell rate are heavily dependent on your server and server size, but don't let that deter you from trying something new. You never know how it will sell if you don't give it a try. Thank you for taking the time to check out this video, and if you liked it, please consider giving it a thumbs up and hitting that subscribe button. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day.